Hey guys, Rob here with McDojoLife, and today we're going to find out what happens when a martial arts instructor makes up his own style and then tests it in the cage. Let's check it out and let's break it down.
I am testing my system and checking it out, making sure that my students are learning the right stuff.
Do you have a favorite technique or a favorite, do you like it better on the ground or on their feet, or is it just totally equal?
I'm comfortable in both.
The fight you just got done watching was Deshaun Dungy versus David Collin. If I messed up their names, I don't care. This fight took place October 30th, 1999 at the very first King of the Cage event. Now, King of the Cage is an MMA event that was started by Bas Rutten.
Let me tell you first that I've been around. There's bang, 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 bang.
The legend, Bas Rutten, that is. David Collin had decided, since he had started his own martial arts style, that he would test that style against another fighter in the cage. That style's name, Jiu-Box-Fu, which was a mixture of jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, and kung fu, blended together to make whatever the hell that was. What I'm not going to do is bash David. I'm going to give him all the credit in the world. Now, granted, he did not take another fight after this, according to any records that I have been able to hunt down, and it seems like this was a one and done for him, but I do got to give him credit. He did decide to at least test it in the cage, and for that, I give you props, good sir. And even though there were a lot of things that he didn't do very well, there were actually plenty of things that he did well, and I wanted to cover all of that right now. Now, the fight doesn't start off too terrible for David. The bell rings, they come out, they meet up in the center of the octagon. Once they get there, you can see that David picks up his knee. It's almost like he misjudged the timing of the front kick. It didn't look like he had any other intent with that kick other than to throw it possibly as a teep to the belly. But it kind of looked like he misjudged it, so he just picked up his knee instead. He's able to pat the jab really well, and then it looks like he kind of got lucky with the cross because he just kind of sticks his hand off and it kind of deflects off his arm. But hey, luck is still not getting hit, so either way, he didn't get hit with that shot. After that initial exchange of punches, he winds up getting into a little bit of a clinch fight here. He gets an underhook on the right side, and on the left side, he winds up not really doing it like an overhook. He winds up wrapping his arm around the back of the guy's head, and he grabs his hand, trying to hoist himself up. Now, what he does here is called jumping guard. Now, in jiu-jitsu, you have pulling guard and you have jumping guard. There's a slight difference, right? Pulling guard is where you grab the person and you pull them down to you into your guard, and he will do that later on in this fight. And jumping guard is where you quite literally jump up into the air and wrap your legs around the person to jump guard, and that's what he does here. Black Shorts does a really good job of maintaining composure here. He doesn't try to just throw him down on his head because it's quite obvious his opponent wants to take him to the ground. So rather than doing that, he's going to try to shake him off by walking him over to the cage to get a more advantageous position when he does actually finally get him off of him. Now, David here kind of freaks out. He looks like at one point he squeezes his legs trying to maybe hurt his ribs by straightening his legs in the guard, which is definitely not something that he should be trying to worry about. What he should have done is let go of his guard, just put his feet down, and then work on the clinch from there. David kind of realizes that he's getting backed up onto the cage. Again, probably should let the guard go, but he decides he's going to try to pull his arm out, and his arm gets a little bit stuck. From there, Black Shorts does a really good job. He slams him against the post. He gets him all the way up to the cage, and he starts shoving him down to try to shake him off of the guard from the front. David's getting kind of shoved off here. He looks for a punch. It doesn't quite connect the way that he'd like it to. Again, suggestion, how about open the guard and try to stand up? But at this point, it's a little too late. He's already kind of got his legs over his head, and he's still trying to maintain the guard. It just doesn't work out so well for him. This is one of those moments where David actually kind of shines just a little bit with some of the technique that he uses. He actually winds up doing fairly well to defend any shots that may hit him while he hits his back onto the canvas. But then he starts creating distance by pushing his opponent away with his legs, so attempting an up kick. Now, the up kick might not have really hurt or affected him his opponent in any way, but it definitely puts David in a position where he can actually stand up. And he does day one jiu-jitsu fundamentals, a stand in base, and he's able to get back to his feet. His opponent immediately takes advantage of this by throwing a right, left, right down the pipe. It doesn't look like the right really lands, but it looks like the left had a little connection to it. David immediately goes to try to get back to the clinch, but it looks like he's already affected and kind of doesn't really want to get hit anymore, because as soon as he gets to clinch, his head and his posture just start kind of deteriorating. David's able to land one or two decent knees in that flurry there. As he's trying to throw that knee, it looks like at least the one right knee landed fairly well before he got caught with the overhand right. Now, at this point, David has that monkey see, monkey do mentality and starts throwing his own overhand rights. And then for some reason has the idea that he wants to pull guard here. So he goes to his back and tries to pull his opponent down into his guard with him. David maintains a little bit more of an open guard during this time. Once he realizes that that open guard isn't necessarily what he really is looking for, he looks like he's trying to crawl back up his opponent's back to hopefully close guard again. Not really the position that you're going to want to do this. It's not a jiu-jitsu tournament. So the guy's going to punch you in the face, and he does. Matter of fact, two solid right hands land before David goes, okay, well, I need to get out of this position. And it looks like he's scrambling for a sweep. And there are a ton of sweeps that were possible from this position, but David makes a huge mistake. He grabs the ankle. He's able to block the foot on the other side with his leg, with his bottom leg. But from here, for some reason, he decides to play peekaboo and try to get his head to the outside. I don't know exactly what he was trying for. I'm just guessing that it was a sweep. It just didn't really work out well for him, and he winds up quitting because he gets punched in the face a couple times. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I got to give David all the credit in the world. He did decide to take an idea and a concept, put it together, and at least test it. Now, David didn't seem to have any fights after this, but kudos to him for at least getting in there and trying. I think the most important thing here is hopefully David took this as not a bad thing. Losing is not a bad thing. It sucks. It doesn't feel good, but it can be constructive, and it can help you along with whatever it is you're doing. Eventually, we all take the loss. It's okay. It happens. Hopefully you learn from it, you develop, you grow from it. You can laugh at yourself a little bit and go, I made that mistake. These are some things I did right. These are some things I did wrong. You know what? I'm going to get back up. I'm going to go back to work, and I'm going to try to fill those holes in my game. On that note, hopefully everybody enjoyed watching this old school fight. Hopefully you guys have some comments that you want to add about David's fighting style or something maybe I missed inside the fight breakdown. You know what? I'm not perfect. None of us are. That's okay. Hopefully we can all get a laugh out of ourselves. Hopefully we can all look at our mistakes and grow from them. Thank you all for the likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, and all other crap. Keep the martial arts legit.